Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we peel back the layers of corporate filings and see what's really going on underneath. Today we're diving into a recent report from Range Resources Corporation, and let me tell you, this filing is like a snapshot of their business health, giving us a peek into their recent performance and what they're up to. So what is this all about? Well, this is a Form 8K filing. This is essentially a report that companies have to file when something significant happens that investors should know about. Usually this means big changes in their business like new deals, executive shakeups, or in this case, a look at their financial results. The important date here is July 22nd. That's when the core event happened, the announcement of their second quarter 2025 results. The filing itself is dated July 23rd because it takes a day to properly put all this information into the official report. The company we're looking at is Range Resources Corporation. They are a significant player in the energy sector. Think of them as a company that finds and produces oil and natural gas. It's a tough business with lots of ups and downs based on global energy prices and demand. Just a quick note on their official details. Range Resources is incorporated in Delaware, and they have a commission file number and an IRS employer identification number. These are just standard identifiers for regulatory purposes, nothing too exciting for us to dwell on. Their main office is located in Fort Worth, Texas, as you can see from their principal executive office address. Knowing where a company is headquartered can sometimes give clues about its operational focus, but for now, let's keep things moving. And the phone number is there for anyone who might need to reach them, but again, we're here to decode the financial story, not make a phone call. Now, this is interesting. Range Resources Corporation's common stock trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol RRC. This means their stock is available for anyone to buy and sell on one of the world's biggest stock markets. Their stock is valued at 1 cent per share, meaning each share has a very small face value. The filing also asks if they are an emerging growth company. This is a designation for younger or smaller companies that get some relaxed regulatory requirements. Range Resources is not checking this box, which suggests they are a more established company in the eyes of the SEC. The main point of this filing is item 202, which is all about their financial results for the second quarter of 2025. This is where we'll find the juicy details about how well they did. They announced their second quarter results on July 22nd. This press release is actually attached as an exhibit to this report. Think of it as the company's official announcement of how they performed. Item 9.01 tells us what exhibits are included with this filing. Exhibits are like the supporting documents that back up the main report. Here, Exhibit 99.1 is that press release from July 22nd. This is what we are really interested in as it contains the actual financial numbers. And there's also an interactive data file. This is a more machine-readable format that helps analysts and regulators more easily process the financial information. Very technical, but important for the automation of financial data. Finally, we see the signature of Mark S. Scotchy, the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer. This indicates he's the one officially signing off on these results, making sure everything is accurate and true. It's his stamp of approval on the company's financial health. The report is signed on July 23rd. This shows the finalization and submission of the document to the SEC. Now let's get to the core of the matter, the actual financial results announced in that press release from July 22nd. While this 8K filing doesn't contain the detailed financial tables itself, it points us to the press release that absolutely does, and that press release is where the real story often lies. We're looking for the key numbers that tell us if Range Resources is growing, making more money, or facing challenges. Typically, when a company reports quarterly results, investors are keenly interested in revenue, earnings per share, operational efficiency, and any changes in their debt or cash flow. We want to see if their production is up or down, if their costs are under control, and how their financial position has changed from the previous quarter or year. For energy companies, pricing of oil and gas is a huge factor. So we'd want to understand how those market dynamics might have impacted their performance. Did they benefit from higher energy prices, or were they hurt by lower ones? Did they manage to produce more efficiently to offset any price volatility? A strong report would show increasing revenue, healthy profit margins, and a stable or improving balance sheet. A weak Generally, when these reports come out, you'll see numbers like total revenue, cost of revenue, and then the net income or profit. They'll often break down revenue by product type or geographical region. For Range Resources, we'd be looking for how much oil and gas they extracted and sold, how much they sold it for, and what it cost them to get it out of the ground and to the market. For instance, if their revenue increased significantly, but their costs also rose at an even faster rate, then their profit might have actually decreased. This would be a red flag suggesting they aren't controlling their expenses effectively, or that the market price for their products didn't compensate for their rising costs. Conversely, if revenue is stable but profit margins improve, this could indicate better efficiency or a shift towards more premium products. We also need to consider what these numbers mean for the company's strategy. Are they investing heavily in new drilling, which might reduce current profits but promise future growth? Or are they cutting back on exploration to conserve cash? This 8K filing itself is brief, but it's the gateway to that deeper financial narrative. The press release it directs us to will contain those crucial figures. When we look at those numbers, we're trying to answer a few key questions. Is this company run by competent people who are good stewards of shareholder capital? Are they making smart investments for the long term, and is the stock price a fair reflection of the company's true value? Always remember that past performance is not a guarantee of future results, but it's the best indicator we have. Looking at Range Resources Corporation more broadly, they operate in a very cyclical industry. The price of natural gas and oil can swing wildly based on global supply and demand, geopolitical events, and even weather. Companies like Range Resources need to be very adept at managing these fluctuations. They often use financial instruments like hedging to lock in prices for a portion of their production, which can help smooth out earnings. However, if they have too much production hedged at a low price when market prices spike, they can miss out on those gains. Another way to assess their performance is to look at their production volumes. Are they able to increase the amount of oil and gas they bring to the surface year over year? This often requires significant capital investment in drilling and infrastructure. If production is growing and they're doing it profitably, it's a sign of operational strength. If production is great and not growing, it could indicate challenges in finding new reserves or bringing them online efficiently. Now, for my take on Range Resources based on what this filing points us toward, you're always looking for consistency and growth. Do the results show a steady upward trend, or are they bouncing around wildly? The energy sector makes that tough, but good management teams can navigate these cycles. We want to see if they are generating enough cash from their operations to cover their expenses, their investments, and if possible, return some value to shareholders through dividends or share buybacks. A key risk for any company in this sector is regulatory or environmental action. Changes in government policy regarding fossil fuels can significantly impact their business model. So when looking at their financials, it's also important to consider the broader economic and regulatory landscape they're operating in. If Range Resources is reporting strong earnings and increasing production in a challenging market, it shows resilience. If they are struggling even in a good market, it would suggest deeper issues with their assets or management strategy. In conclusion, this 8K filing is just the starting point. It's the tip of the iceberg that directs us to the more detailed financial information from Range Resources. The real analysis comes from digging into that press release and understanding the numbers behind their second quarter performance. Are they making money? Are they growing? And are they managing their business like disciplined operators? Alright, that's our breakdown of this Range Resources 8K filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget we have a fantastic community over on Discord to discuss these topics further. Link in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.